Question: is there anyone still out there who really wants a Star Trek 4 in the Kelvin timeline? It's been almost a decade since Star Trek Beyond came and went, and it was beyond all imagination how bad the movie really was. Arguments being made that, like Star Trek Into Darkness, there were parts of this movie they felt like they ripped off from The Search for Spock. The Enterprise arriving at the space station Yorktown almost looked like the Enterprise arriving at space dock on Earth in The Search for Spock, and at the same time the Enterprise being destroyed like it was in The Search for Spock. Third movie, third time the Enterprise gets trashed. They may have had a good idea about what to do with Star Trek Beyond, but the reality is that when it came to the execution, the audience just did not like it, and it bombed at the theaters. Year after year, all you would hear is that there would be more Star Trek. Star Trek 4 is coming. Wait a minute, it's not coming. It's canceled. It's not coming. It's canceled again. It kept going on and on. Now, over the years, I have heard people say that we do need a Star Trek 4. The Kelvin timeline story needs to be completed. But does it really? It wasn't really that well liked that it deserves a conclusion. And to be fair about it, it shouldn't be concluded at all, unless, of course, they find a way to repair the damage that they've done, because really, this hurts Star Trek. The problem with the Kelvin timeline is, well, basically, it's not Star Trek. It's Star Wars in a Star Trek uniform. The problem with the Kelvin timeline, at least for me, and I've heard other people make this complaint as well, is that these characters are running around like a chicken without a head. There is just no time, no allowing the audience to take in what's happening. Everything is pew, 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 bang, 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 explosion, run, quick, duck, jump, hide, and then you're back to the same scenario all over again. There is no room to breathe, no time for the audience, as I just said, to take it in. Let's talk about Uhura for a clear example of what I'm referring to here. Hardly ever do you see her at her station. Most of the time throughout the movies, she's running around chasing after Spock. See, right here. Here she comes running from the bridge. Why? She has no business in the engine room. Spock was the one summoned to the engine room, not Uhura and Spock. She chased after Spock. And once again, here's Uhura coming in to save Spock. She runs in because she's the only one who can handle the situation and needs to be near Spock. This is not Uhura. Say what you want about Uhura from Strange New Worlds, but at least they had this right about her. She was true to the original character. She didn't go off running around chasing after other crew members on the ship. She stayed in her station. She was respectful. When she was assigned duty, she would follow them and carry them out. She was, honestly, a decent representation of Uhura. And I honestly think that the Kelvin timeline version was terrible, and it just needs to go away. Now, if you want to talk about another argument for why another movie in the Kelvin timeline should not happen, James T. Kirk is a clear example of it. This version of Kirk lacks the confidence that our James T. Kirk, William Shatner's James T. Kirk, has. He's unsure of himself. He's very nervous, at least in my opinion, about how he carries himself and whether or not his decisions are right.
What I'm about to do, it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. It is a gut feeling. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I only know what I can do.
Now, on the flip side of things, this is where I will give the Kelvin timeline credit where it is definitely due. Zachary Quintino's version of Spock compared to Strange New Worlds' version of Spock is excellent. Strange New Worlds Spock is just so lacking something. Ethan Peck's version of Spock is just bad. It's his performance, his presentation, it's just dry. Leonard Nimoy was the master and will always be Spock, but Ethan Peck's version is just not good. Zachary Quintino, on the other hand, he did an excellent job And that is the only thing I will say about the Kelvin timeline that was really good. Speaking of Zach, apparently he's been sending letters off to Skydance and the executives over there at Paramount, making the argument that they should continue Star Trek 4. And he believes that Skydance has funded Star Trek Beyond and should continue to fund the next Star Trek project. Now, the problem that I think we're going to have here is that it's just been too far. The gap, it's just too long. We're talking almost 10 years since the last Star Trek movie was in the theaters. And I just don't know if there is enough fan support left for the Kelvin timeline. I guess that is the real question that needs to be asked here is there any need? Should they make Star Trek 4? What more can they tell us about the Kelvin timeline? And if they do, what more material will they rip off from other Star Trek films?
Let's make some noise. That's a good choice.
That right there was one of the main reasons people were upset about this movie. It just came across as so much lazy writing in this story, especially when it came to defeating the enemy with the raw power of a Beastie Boys track. Have you seen Star Trek Beyond? And do you think we should have another Star Trek movie in the Kelvin timeline? Star Trek 4? I'm not sure if I want to see that. Skydance has made the argument that they think Star Trek is damaged and they want to repair the brand. Well, so far they haven't shown us any evidence to prove that they are willing to do so, like, I don't know, canceling Starfleet Academy. But I guess it's too early to tell. We're going to have to wait and see on that. Drop those comments below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.